Hey Los Blancos fans! Welcome back to Real Madrid News, your go-to source for all things Real Madrid. I'm bringing you some absolutely massive news today that's going to shake the foundations of the Santiago Bernabeu. We're talking about the end of an era, major transfer moves worth over 80 million euros, and the complete reshaping of our midfield for the next decade. Before we dive into this emotional roller coaster, smash that like button if you're a true Madridista, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because you definitely don't want to miss any of these crucial updates. All right, Madridistas, let's start with the news that has left every Real Madrid fan with mixed emotions. After 13 incredible years at the Santiago Bernabeu, Luca Modric will officially be leaving Real Madrid this summer. Now, according to AS, this wasn't a decision made lightly. While there were internal voices within the club pushing to keep the Croatian maestro for at least one more season, the dominant consensus from Real Madrid's top brass was clear. Now is the time for change. And here's what makes this even more heartbreaking. Modric didn't resist the idea of taking a reduced role. The man who has given everything to this club was willing to step back, support the new generation, and contribute in any way possible. That's the class and professionalism we've come to expect from our captain. But Real Madrid's management felt that keeping Modric even in a lesser role could potentially stall the growth of emerging players like Federico Valverde and Jude Bellingham. It's a decision based on cold, hard footballing logic, but one that carries enormous emotional weight. The clarity finally came on Thursday morning when the club informed Modric of their final decision. Ever the professional, he accepted it with the grace we've witnessed throughout his legendary career. This Saturday, against Real Sociedad, he'll bid farewell to the Bernabeu, the stadium that has been his home for over a decade. So who's going to fill those legendary boots? Well, Real Madrid aren't wasting any time, and they've got their eyes on some serious talent. First up, we have Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea. Now, this is fascinating because Real Madrid were actually keen on him before his big money move to the Premier League after the 2022 World Cup. According to Cadena Ser, Los Blancos see the Argentine midfielder as a possible successor to Modric. But here's the catch. Chelsea are going to make it extremely difficult for Enzo to leave. We're talking about a player they invested heavily in, and they're not going to let him go easily. That's where our second target comes in, Ezequiel Palacios, another Argentine international currently at Bayer Leverkusen. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Incoming Real Madrid manager Xabi Alonso, yes, you heard that right, is very familiar with Palacios, having worked with him over the past few years at Leverkusen. But it's not going to be a walk in the park for this signing either. Manchester City are reportedly keen on bringing Palacios to the Premier League, so we're looking at a potential bidding war. The report suggests that there's every chance a new midfielder joins before the squad heads to the United States for the Club World Cup. However, since Chelsea are also playing in that tournament, Enzo would almost certainly not arrive in June, which could open up more opportunities for the Palacios deal. Now, let's talk about some serious money. Real Madrid have also set their sights on AC Milan's Tijani Reinders, and according to AS, this Dutch midfielder is going to cost a staggering $80 million. Reinders has been an absolute sensation at Milan over the past 2 years, and he's well-liked at Valdebebas. The problem? He renewed his contract until 2030 just this past March, which means Milan are in no hurry to sell and can demand top dollar. And it gets even more expensive when we look at Liverpool's Alexis Mac Allister. The Argentine World Cup winner would likely cost at least $90 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, 90 million euros. But Real Madrid are also being smart about this. They're considering more cost-effective alternatives like Angelo Stiller. From VfB Stuttgart, it's classic Florentino Perez strategy. Explore the Galactico options, but always have practical backup plans. The competition is fierce, though. Manchester City are also interested in Reinders, so we could be looking at another battle with Pep Guardiola's side. This midfield signing would be just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Real Madrid are planning what could be one of their busiest summer transfer windows in recent years. We've already seen Dean Huijsen's signing confirmed. Trent Alexander-Arnold is expected to be next through the door, and there's also a strong desire to wrap up a deal for Alvaro Carreras before the Club World Cup begins. What we're witnessing is Real Madrid's preparation for a complete generational shift. The objective is crystal clear. Build a new core that can serve the club for the next decade, just like Modric, Toni Kroos, and Casemiro did for the past one. The focus has shifted sharply toward youth, particularly in midfield. Players like Arda Güler and Nico Paz are being primed for bigger roles, and the club wants to create an environment where these young talents can flourish without the shadow of legendary figures potentially limiting their development. From a tactical perspective, what Real Madrid are doing makes perfect sense, even if it's emotionally difficult to accept. Modric is 39 years old, and while his quality is undeniable, modern football demands incredible physical intensity, especially in midfield. The players they're targeting, Fernandes, Palacios, Reinders, they're all in their early to mid-20s. They represent the future, not just for 1 or 2 seasons, but potentially for the next 8 to 10 years. Financially, spending 80–90 million on a midfielder might seem excessive, but when you consider that these players could serve the club for a decade, the cost per season becomes much more reasonable. It's the same strategy that brought us Bellingham, and look how that turned out. The real genius here is in the planning. Real Madrid aren't just replacing Modric, they're reshaping their entire midfield philosophy for the next generation while they still have time to integrate new players alongside existing stars like Bellingham and Valverde. So there you have it, Madridistas. We're witnessing the end of the Modric era and the beginning of something entirely new at Real Madrid. While it's emotional to see our Croatian magician leave, the club's vision for the future is ambitious and exciting. Whether it's Enzo Fernandez for a potential fortune, Palacios reuniting with Xabi Alonso, or the $80 million Dutch sensation, Reinders, Real Madrid are committed to building the next Galactico midfield. What do you think about these potential signings? Should Real Madrid splash the cash on Reinders or focus on more cost-effective options? Let me know in the comments below. That's all for today. Please leave your comments below and hit the like button. Thank you for watching.